All right. Hey, everyone. Welcome to this week's episode of The Talent Show, where you'll meet the people that power TTEC. I'm Rebecca. I will be your host for today's show. Welcome to those of you who are joining for the first time, or if you've been coming back every other week. We are glad to see you here again. We have a very special show today. And I know I feel like I say that every single time, but it's because I'm super lucky to be able to meet so many amazing people from around the world on this show and get to know more about them and their advice for how we can all really make the most of this life that we're living, both in our work and our professional lives. So welcome. Thank you for being here today. You will be meeting a very special guest today as we celebrate Military Appreciation Month and Military Spouse Appreciation Day here in the United States. The Appreciation Day is tomorrow. We have a military spouse joining us today to share her story. And you'll be able to learn a lot of amazing things because she's been able to grow her career during times of transition, meaning her husband went on deployments and she was here thriving and growing her career along the way. So you'll get to be able to apply some of her amazing advice in your own career. And you'll find through our conversation that in the end, it's really all about paying it forward, whether it's in the workplace or in your community or serving your country. So we're excited to meet her today and share some of her insight with you. But first things first, let's meet you because you're such an important part of this show as well. So we're so excited to meet you from around the world. I see the chat and the comments are popping already, which is very exciting, and we're happy to meet you all. So please drop where in the world you're joining us from today. And our team will be in the chat and able to help you as well. We have Karen Keaton. Hey, y'all. I like that. Nice to see you, Karen. Thanks so much. So as we have our audience dropping where you are in the world from, let's talk a little bit more about what you can expect from today's show. As we celebrate Military Appreciation Month and Military Spouse Day, here at TTEC, we really value the skills and the abilities that military attached families bring us, whether they're serving or it's their family members like our guest here today. We recognize that their values, their leadership, their drive, and their determination, along with their commitment, really help to power TTEC as well as our communities. And you're going to see that all demonstrated in our guest here today because she brings so much passion to what she does. But thank you so much. Oh, hey, in the chat, Kristen and from Houston, Texas. I'm sure we can say hey, y'all, to you too. Emma, shout out to Emma. She's going to have a job featured here today as a recruiter from the UK. So we'll talk a little bit more about that. Cezanne, hello from Melbourne, Australia. Really great to see people from Australia here. I know it's very late where you are, so thanks for joining us. We also have another team audience member, from Houston and India. Hello, Samir from Kashmir, India. Great to see you here today. And Sharon, welcome back. Nice to see you as well. So thanks for dropping the comments. Please keep it up throughout the show. Want to get to introducing today's guest to you. Kayla DeLong is joining us from Springfield, Missouri, here in the United States. She is a senior operations manager. And wait for it, everyone. She is not only a CX magic maker, but she's also a Spirit of TTEC finalist. And what that means outside of the TTEC world is that she's been recognized and nominated by her peers and leaders as one of the best of the best. And I don't know if you all know it, but we have over 60,000 people here at TTEC. So she is very much somebody that you're going to want to hear from today, and you won't want to miss a minute. So let's bring Kayla on, everyone. Hey, Kayla.
Hey,
How's it going today?
great. Great. Happy to be here.
Well, thank you so much for your time. And first of all, thank you so much to you and your husband and your family for your military service, as well to everybody out there around the world where you may have served your country as well. And Kayla, I hear we have something to celebrate coming up here in a few weeks with your 13th anniversary here at TTEC.
Yes, 13 years.
So we'll do a little celebration in the chat later on today. Everybody, happy 13th anniversary, Kayla, a little in advance.
Thank you.
So, hey, you started here as an associate. One thing I didn't mention, but you are an Olympic weightlifter as well. And as we chatted about, I'm just learning how to do some push ups. So, any advice that you can give on that would be amazing. But could you tell us a little bit more about you and your journey here at TTEC today?
Yeah, absolutely. So my journey started, as we mentioned, about 13 years ago, and at that time, my husband was deployed to Iraq, and I was looking for really like a sense of purpose and to kind of fill my time. And a friend to me had mentioned about TTEC and the military affiliation, and so I applied and was hired on in June of, oh my goodness, about 2010. So from there, I knew right away that it was a company to grow within. And I told my production supervisor as soon as I got on the floor that I knew I wanted to move up in the company and continue to grow personally and professionally. And so from there, I've kind of gone through as an associate. I've worked in quality as a team lead, a little bit of some time in human capital, and then for the last I would say about 7 to 8 years have been in operations management, and just recently, last year, as a senior operations manager. So it's been a great time, and just really was able to kind of continue to have that support and that military connection along the way.
Kayla, thank you so much. And just to see all the different areas that you grew your career through transitional times. And I think that's where we're really going to be able to provide our audience today some great insight into what drives you to persevere through these transitional times, not only as a military spouse, but also through the pandemic, through, all the transitions we've had over the past 3 years. And it's not only that you persevere, but you thrive as well. So could you share a little bit more with us about that?
Absolutely. So from the time that, going through a first deployment, being pretty young, I know that support was a big factor in helping to get through that time. And in my career within TTEC, I've been able to not only have support from family outside of work, but also develop a work family. And in every position that I've been in, that's just been a solid foundation piece of having the support from my team members, from my leadership, and just knowing that overall has helped out. We've even had an opportunity to be able to send care packages to my husband's unit whenever he was deployed in Afghanistan, so during his second deployment in that time frame. And it was just great to see everybody come together and really just show the care and support for it, for me, for my family, for the military members that they didn't know personally, but just wanted to make sure that they reached out.
I think that's so important what you're hitting on there is that building of the network and that network with your team, with your leaders. Could you share a little bit more with us about why it's been important to you to pay it forward? You've had all this great support, and now in your career as a leader, you're paying it back. Why is that important to you? And what are some of the ways that each of us can do it, not only in our careers, but in our lives as well?
Yeah. So, um, servant leadership has been a big portion of just my overall leadership mentality to it. And I think as I've gone through, the deployments in this transitional times, more difficult and feeling alone, it's been extremely helpful to have that support structure. And so my mentality has really gone to supporting those that ultimately lift me up in my own performance, and that's my team leaders, my managers, and the agents themselves. And so, um, when in doubt, definitely provide support. And I think we have a lot of great resources that have allowed us to do that, and just building the network around us of um, we're one big family. We act as one, and we achieve together, and so just really embodying that value.
Yeah, thank you, Kayla, for that. And we want to go to the audience as well to share more about what's your favorite advice about building a support network? Again, we want to make sure you're walking away today. Maybe you feel isolated, maybe you feel alone, maybe now's like a tough time in your transition, or you're looking to take that next step. And who can you turn to help you build that confidence? So we want to hear from you. What advice do you have for building that network as well? And Kayla, that's so important. As a Spirit of TTEC finalist and a CX Magic Maker, we know that you are walking that talk that you're sharing here today, because that is so important, to be leading and role modeling what you're saying here as well. So I don't know if you've seen it, Kayla, but we've got a lot of happy anniversaries to you from around the world, which is super cool. From Kashmir to the Philippines, Avi Garcia, also shout out for your 13 years. Samir is also saying thanks for the information. And we also have another guest, Ronnie from Ahmedabad, who's looking for a job, which is great. You're in the right place. Please check out ttechjobs.com to see what's available in your neck of the woods. So, Kayla, another question, because as we're talking about transitionary times, challenging times, you've led a team through a pandemic. You were all on site, you went home. What are some of the things that you found were so important to support the mental health of your team as well as the people around you?
Well, I think one of the things that definitely came up was just mental health awareness, and as we kind of went through that pandemic time, it created a little bit more of that isolation feeling, and really looking to engage in those activities. So. Not only through the leadership in the network, we've also had mentorship from upper leadership to help out with some of the challenges that we're facing, and leading through grace. And we know that we have an EAP program as well through TTEC, which is our employee assistance program, and really leveraging just the different resources. There's also been a lot of support with the TTEC Minds initiative, and just helping people feel not so isolated, feeling connected. We now have more webcams that we're being engaged, and even with those that are at home, and starting to work on some return to office items. And it's just been exciting to see the growth in the dynamic between the teams, just through a lot of those initiatives, and just supporting one another in um, what seems like a longer transition time, but just in adapting to the way we work today.
So much to unpack there. I wish we had a lot longer, because there's a couple words that you've said throughout this, that uplifting each other, leading with grace. I mean, those are such meaningful words, and I'm sure you don't say them lightly. So important to be doing those things. And one of the things that we have here that we talk about all the time is the importance of smiles and bringing smiles to our team's faces. And like you just said, with the webcam and that connection, there's nothing better than, we could talk to each other's photo on Zoom, but there's really nothing better than today, Kayla, like connecting face to face with you and seeing you. So yeah, those things that you're talking about could seem very small, but they're also foundational, and they add up to really helping people feel connected, like you're saying. We do have a couple comments from our audience. Arun, thank you so much for sharing. He would advise to focus on building relationships and increasing networks. It just kept scrolling so fast, I lost the rest of it, but we'll get that up there. And we also have a couple people open to work. So again, thank you so much for being here today. Bensonetta Williams, she has been she absolutely loves TTEC and is going to be starting on her site in July. So we're so
Yay.
glad that you'll be able to make some connections with us there. So yeah, so many great things that you've shared with us today that we can all walk away and implement immediately, from what the audience is sharing to what you've shared too. Kayla, can you give us, as we're rounding out our time here together, just the final pieces of advice and takeaways that you think each of us can take away and apply in our lives? Again, whether it's a challenging time, a transitional time, or it's the best of times, what are some keys that we can apply in what we're doing?
Yeah. So, something that I've been very big on is just never stop learning. In any position, any role, and life itself is just never stop learning. Take every opportunity that you can to apply it to what you're currently going through, and then just supporting those that are also supporting you. You never know kind of what somebody's going through at the time, and being able to provide support to them will also in turn kind of and pay it forward and they may also impact you in a different way.
I love it. You do. You make it sound so easy. Like, oh, just pay it forward.
Just pay it forward. It's
Just pay
not a
it
big deal.
forward. But that's all really, really great. And if we could all be, I have been saying, our guests have been so inspiring that every time it's like, if we can just all be 10% kinder, 10% more compassionate, 10% better to each other, we'd make such a difference in this world. And Kayla, your service to the country, your commitment to your sport, and your family are all very inspiring to me, and I'm sure to the audience as well. So thank you to you and your family for your service. Thank you for your time today. And hey, if I'm in Springfield, Missouri, I'm looking for TTEC and coming
Yes.
to talk more with you, Kayla, and your team there.
Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it. Thanks for letting me share.
Yes, absolutely. Happy anniversary, Kayla, and I'll see you soon, hopefully.
All right. Thank you.
And everyone, we have some jobs for you that we'd like to highlight. You can definitely go to ttechjobs.com, and that's where you will find jobs from all around the world. So it's a great first place for you to start. And today, if you are in Springfield, Missouri, or know people there, we are hiring for a customer service representative there. And you can be a part of the team that Kayla works with in Springfield. I think it looks like a very fun site with a lot of people dedicated to bringing smiles to people's faces. So please be sure to check out our job in Springfield. And if you're looking for customer service, we've got roles all around the world. And then also, speaking of all around the world, in the United Kingdom, we gave a shout out earlier to Emma, one of our recruiters. She is recruiting for a CX sales solution architect. This is an amazing opportunity to grow your career in CX technology, and it's a new role helping us to expand across the EMEA region. So bring your contact center experience and some of those technical skills to the role and join our team to help us deliver more humanity to business. And again, head over to ttechjobs.com to see what might be available for you, or share these jobs with your network as well, because again, we're all about paying it forward here today. So, thank you all so much for joining us today. I hope you're walking away with some very meaningful ways that you can grow your career and pay it forward, from uplifting those around you to being curious to constantly upskilling and building that strong network. We'd like to thank our guest, Kayla DeLong, for joining us here today, to her family and all the families around the world that support our country or your country, wherever you may be, as we go into celebrating Military Spouse Appreciation Day. And special thanks to you once again for tuning in. You make our show so much better, and we appreciate you coming back. Don't worry, if you missed an episode, please go and subscribe to TTEC on LinkedIn, and you'll never miss an episode. As we near the weekend, we wish you all the best and see you back in 2 weeks as we celebrate together in Pride as Pride Month begins. Have a great weekend, everyone, and thank you so much for joining us on the Talent Show here today.